The Golden Knights are shorthanded heading into tonight's first road encounter, the game in San Jose this evening against the Sharks. We'll talk about injuries. We'll talk about the Brett Howden suspension and what the lineup might look like tonight, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Make sure to check out the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. Please subscribe there. And we are the X-Men, of course, on X, at TD Chris G, at Tony Dasco, at Locked On VGK. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Yesterday, the NHL Players Safety Committee hands down a 2-game suspension. Those folks are up awfully early in New York. They usually sleep in past noon Eastern. They were
it took them like 6 hours to announce the ruling.
Of course. Well, they had to wait for Howden to wake up on the flip side. So Brett Howden, an illegal check, as we know, to the head of Seattle's Brendan Tanev in Tuesday's win over the Kraken. And it was, do you think that the suspension there was harsh, too lenient? Where do you stand on this suspension, Chris?
It was fine. What I don't get are, like, just want to pull a video up here. There are so many Golden Knight fans. Understand the rules here for a second, guys. We're going to talk about this here. So many people, whether it's on the Facebook, whether it's through Vegas Hockey Now, whether it's through the tweets we're putting out about this, they're all saying, well, Brett Howden didn't mean to do it. There wasn't any intent. Tanev fell funny after he got, like, guys, none of this matters. His intent is irrelevant. Brett Howden made an unresponsible play that is simply not a good hockey play. Did Howden want to hurt Tanev? No. Was he targeting his head? Absolutely not. But it happened as a result of what Brett Howden's actions were. It's very simple. Tanev is skating one direction. Howden, as the checker, the honest, the responsibility is on the person making the check or engaging physical contact to do it in a clean manner. It's a quick game. I get it. These things are going to happen. It was an accident. It definitely was an accident. Howden engaged and wanted contact, but he didn't mean to hit him in the head. Fine, whatever. Who cares? None of this freaking matters. Just take 30 seconds and watch the hits. You see the first place that Howden makes contact from Howden's body is on Tanev's head, and that's it. That's the end of it. So it's a 2-game suspension. In the grand scheme of things, it means very little unless Howden were to do something, like this again. Then the suspension would get progressively worse. But this isn't a big deal. And like all the chirping and everyone just getting all bent out of sorts about this, thinking like the NHL is mad at the Golden Knights and all this. Just stop it. It was not a good hockey play. Howden gets a 2-game suspension. Eat it, and we'll see him next week.
We've seen longer suspensions at times, but the game misconduct draws, again, just to be clear, draws a minimum of a 1-game suspension, right? Correct?
The verbiage that I saw in the NHL rulebook. So there's a couple ways that a couple things that happens here.
What section is this in? What
28? No, I actually had it here, Tony. I'm gonna zap you on this one. I believe it was 28 actually.
Okay.
So, now I'm gonna look it up.
28-.34.
Rule 28 is supplemental discipline. So it was actually, I think, section 23 where I found this from in the rule book. So there we go. So there's a couple things that happened here. The call on the ice that happened, they hit him with an immediate 5-minute major penalty for interference, I believe. I could be wrong. And then when the referees call a major penalty on the ice, it initiates the opportunity to start some type of review process with Toronto. If you call like a minor or a double minor, then there's no review. It's all going to be on the Department of Player Safety at that point. But since a major was called, the opportunity to review it is there. Toronto actually upped the call on the ice from a major to a match penalty, which carries the 5-minute major penalty and an automatic ejection from the current game the player is in. And then the verbiage in the rule book, when a player receives a match penalty, they may not participate in a game until the commissioner's office has ruled on it. I can't imagine a situation where a match penalty gets handed out and a suspension isn't issued. But the verbiage in the rule book, unless there's another section I missed, which definitely could be the case, it just simply says commissioner has to rule, which means Department of Player Safety, obviously.
So Bill Foliage cranks the siren, sends a couple of bottles to Bettman and Player Safety, and we're good. I
saw Bettman back a house. He's actually a bigger dude than you
was
think.
He there?
Like,
he was there. There was a sighting?
Yeah, we saw him in the back house. Well, he was there was pictures of him. I think
we didn't see him on TV. Side. Oh wow, he was low key.
Yeah, he was there. He was definitely there.
Oh boy, that's shady. Working on next year's rigged schedule, maybe, perhaps back a house.
It wasn't Bettman cranking the siren, Tony. Relax.
Okay, I thought he would. So now we've got Brett Howden out tonight, Chris. William Carrier, Zach Whitecloud, Alec Martinez.
No injury problems this year. There's not any injury problems this year. It's going to be fine. No injury issues.
The famed Giannis Ronbjorg brought up yesterday from down in Henderson, across in Henderson, not down really. And so probably we're going to see a lot of changes in the lineup. Ronbjorg, of course, we all know he's still smarting from that from getting stoned by JF Berube, right? Like in that penalty shot.
Oh, the penalty shot you're talking about in the preseason?
Oh, yeah.
I got you.
So tonight we will see Cotter. Could we see Cotter, Dorofeyev, or whatever, and Ronbjorg all in the lineup tonight? How will the line shake out in tonight's game?
What it looks like is going to end up happening here. I had it right here. Give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
I think they're going to move Cotter up to the second line first and foremost. Okay. Dorofeyev is going to slide in.
So Cotter alongside Stevie and Stoney.
Yeah, Cotter, Stevenson, Stone.
I don't know. I'm trying to catch on to these pet names, man. It's confusing.
It's a different one. It's hockey. That doesn't need to be perfect. It'll be different tomorrow. Don't worry.
But in a press conference, hang on, hear me out just for a moment.
Here we go.
In a press conference, Cassidy's using all these nicknames, and then he can't pronounce the stinking names anyway.
Tony, if you become an AHL coach, you can call the players whatever you want in your press conference.
Okay, Dorofeyev,
Karlsson, Amadio, Ronbjorg, Kolasar. So it'll be interesting to see Cotter moving up with Stevenson and Stone, first of all. I think, Howden, Stone, Stevenson was a fantastic line against the Kraken. And not to, short side Howden at all, but really the chemistry was Stevenson and Stone, and Howden was just, contributing good things as well. Cotter, good opportunity for him to get some minutes on the second line with a couple of superstars, and we'll see how he responds. Dorofeyev, third line, I don't know. I kind of would have rather seen Dorofeyev go up to the second line. But you have Karlsson and Amadio with you. So either way, you're safe there because Karlsson and Amadio do play really responsible defensive games. And honestly, Dorofeyev, if he can have a strong defensive game, this is what's going to create more opportunities going forward. Ronbjorg on the fourth line with Kolasar and Wah. Doesn't excite me a whole lot. Ronbjorg is a guy that, can chew up minutes and contribute. And maybe he has taken a step forward in his game. Who knows? But it should be a responsible enough game at least to get through it without the fourth line becoming a liability of any sorts.
Michael Amadio played very well the other night. I did notice that.
Low key, but he's playing well in general.
Yeah, and Howden was playing well throughout the preseason. I thought he was skating very well. Those two guys are X factors, and we're X-Men on X. In yesterday, we had an optional. I know, don't roll the eyes there. Yesterday, we had the optional skate. your dad's going to call you out again for rolling your eyes.
That's
Okay.
fun.
They had an optional skate. Mentally, this was something that Cassidy saw that they needed to do. He said that they've had a lot going on from the bonding trip to Tuesday's game, and they needed a break. And I have to agree with them. They definitely needed a break. Yeah.
Listen, this is tough. I mean, being a Stanley Cup champion, nice flex, but being a Stanley Cup champion definitely makes things different the following season and for the entire season. And, Cassidy knows you got a veteran group that is going to need its rest, a veteran group with a lot of injuries that aren't going to happen this season, apparently. But there's a lot of injuries right now, a lot of fatigue early on. Trip to San Jose doesn't thrill anybody from Southern Nevada, but it's got to happen. It's in the rules.
Oh man, that's a long trip for this team.
It's San Jose. No one wants to go to San Jose.
Coming up next, we have a preview of VGK against those aforementioned Sharks. We'll get into that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get into the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including point spreads, player props, the totals, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official betting partner of the National Football League. We are back. Locked On Golden Knights, this Thursday morning edition. It is game day. It is the first road game of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you for making us your first listen. And don't forget on Fridays, that's tomorrow's show already, we have WTF. Chris, you want to talk about time flying? Today is a monumental day. It is my 2-year anniversary on Locked On Golden Knights 2 years ago.
The over guy. The over on that was like
I made it
plus 14,000.
Yeah, it really was. No shout outs in any newsletter though. I am Claude Rains, the invisible man. That's me. There's no shout outs.
Congratulations, Tony. Congratulations, Tony.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go. There you go.
VGK plays in San Jose.
Send Tony flowers. Send Tony flowers, folks. He needs it.
VGK plays.
Send him some for the background.
I just can't believe I made it to 2 years. And about a year and a half plus with TD Chris G. Incredible. Just
another over hits.
They call us the odd couple.
Well, what a parlay that would have been, huh?
Oh man, that would have been some parlay. So tonight in San Jose, aka Cupcake City, now all that's left here is to play against Anaheim in this rigged schedule to get this season underway. The biggest news for the Sharks this week was Logan Couture. Couture was all set to come back, lower body injury, I believe. And then he goes out and he skates, I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. It seems like a long time ago. And he has a setback, Chris, in his recovery of this lower body injury on the ice yesterday. And then he must have aggravated or re-aggravated an injury. And now they say he'll probably be out until November. So that is a big story in San Jose, a team that doesn't have a lot of firepower currently and surely doesn't have a lot of named players on the ice tonight. Cool thing. You and I were tracking this in the preseason. A couple of players did make the roster there. William Eklund, love his game. He got injured, I think, right towards the tail end of last season. And then you also have Thomas Bordeleau, who also made the opening day roster. A couple of young guns that I think we have to watch tonight.
Hey, young guns! Now you're speaking my language. That's the rookie cards that they call their rookies for hockey players.
Who knew?
So there you go, Tony.
It took me 2 years to get that out.
There you go. You waited for this show of all shows to do it. And so looking at their roster, at their forwards from a year-over-year perspective, definitely a fair amount of turnover. You got Hurdle out there. No Timo Meier. Obviously, he was traded to New Jersey. Philippe Zadina, they took a shot there to see. He was from the Detroit Red Wings, had his contract terminated, mutual agreement, so he can get a fresh start. See if I think he was a 6th overall pick and within the last 4 or 5 years or something like that. So see if he can get things going. Definitely love Bordeleau's game. He scored a goal. Basically, he got knocked down in the rookie face-off against the Golden Knights 4 weeks ago, whatever that was now. And on his keister, he still finds a way to tip one in. So I thought that was pretty cool. Eklund has all the upside in the world.
That assist. What about that assist against VGK?
That was such a good assist. Yeah, that was
it was
yeah,
sick.
that was. I compared that to a quarterback looking off a receiver. So he's behind the net, acts like he's going to come up from the other side of the net, and just turns and doesn't even look as he passes it to I don't know who it was, but wide open net, and it was
it
a
Bordeleau?
beautiful play. I don't think Bordeleau had 2 goals that game. It was right place, right time.
Okay,
Kevin
no, he was
LeBlanc
definitely no. Whoever it was, the player was in shock at the just landed on his stick.
I'm sure it was harder for that player to execute. Like, oh wow, how this get here? I better not screw it up.
Was it Barabanov? It was somebody.
It could have been.
Okay,
it could have been. LeBlanc certainly going to be someone to watch on that 4th line. Anthony Duclair, he was in the preseason game. He was out there. He was on the 4th line in a preseason game of all things. He'll be on the 3rd line tonight. But he was just hitting everything that moved. So Duclair is going to be, he'll probably keep his minutes down. But Duclair is someone who he's going to be a menace tonight, looking to cause trouble. And you got some younger players in the lineup now, so he'll certainly be feasting on them, so to speak. And this will be a spot where Kolesar and Duclair might obviously need to exchange pleasantries at one point.
No. Giovanni Smith. And
Kolesar. Giovanni Smith, yeah. That's right. I forgot
Giovanni
about that.
Smith needs to tangle, and I got that they will tangle at minus 200. Now, remember, Braden Pahal dropped the gloves, put up his dukes, earned his name inscribed on the Stanley Cup by fighting against the one and only Giovanni Smith.
Pretty funny. The defense overall, let's see.
Minus Carlson, what do they do now?
It looks like the defense overall, is the defense completely different? Harrington, Carlson, they're not no Vlasic, Ferraro.
Right.
Ferraro's still there. Vlasic's still there, but Vlasic was on the 4th pairing, so Vlasic is probably not playing tonight.
Okay.
Simek and Benning, 2.
Yeah.
It looks like there's only 2 or 3 of the same defensemen from a year-over-year perspective here. So, I mean, listen, we know what San Jose is doing. They got Erik Karlsson out. They are finally starting their process of rebuilding. It's still a long process. They had to take some bad contracts to get rid of Erik Karlsson's contract, but basically Erik Karlsson had 4 more years at 11.5, I believe. They took basically 2 years worth of bad contracts to get Karlsson out. So the San Jose Sharks basically sped up their rebuild process by about 2 years instead of it being 4 years. So, they're still going to get a chance to get to look at players like Eklund and Bordeleau and some other youngsters and take a shot with a player like Zadina, who didn't cut in Detroit. Maybe he'll get a fresh start, 1-year bridge deal, see what happens. Mackenzie Blackwood, there's the goaltender. I mean, I don't know
and
how much.
Kokkonen
shut out the Golden Knights in the preseason, right? I think he was the goalie for that game, which whatever to that.
In that game, whatever game that was, yeah.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, listen, you got a hungry lineup. It's game 1. There's hope. If this is game 40, it's a different type of feeling. But everyone has hope on opening night. This is the Sharks' opening night. They'll have ceremonies and whatever it is that they do up there to honor the team. And the Golden Knights should hopefully be able to capitalize on a team that early on as San Jose, like the Golden Knights on opening night. The first 5 minutes they looked a little flat. Expect San Jose to have a flat start, and if the Golden Knights can get a quick start, it should be smooth sailing.
Excuse me, because no one knows much about this team, but isn't Henry Thrun? Isn't he a defenseman?
Yeah, he made the team, I believe.
He made the team. I thought so. Yeah, he played
Thrun looks
well.
Like he's going to be on the 3rd defensive pairing.
I'm not losing my mind with his team.
And Thrun was someone he made a lot of noise in the preseason. Someone you probably didn't think too much about, and ends up cracking the rooster.
So isn't it the second line with Barabanov, with Bordeleau and Duclair? That's a pretty good line.
Second line.
Barabanov last year, 15 goals, 32 assists. Pretty good season.
No, so line 2, Granlund between
Oh, Grantland.
Grantland with Eklund and
they got in
Howden.
the deal for
Yep.
Carlson.
And
Okay.
Bordelot is going to be the third line with Barabanov and Declare.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see. I think we've got a good matchup on line 3.
Golden Knights minus 245 on the road tonight. Oh my
They
God.
are. Oh, I'd take a flyer the other way. Why not?
If you're going to do it, the other way, you don't just bet it. Like take San Jose reverse puck line at like -2, right? That's the way to do that.
Well, I mean, when we saw Seattle,
I'm not advocating it. I'm not advocating betting a penny on the Sharks. Let's be clear about this.
I might bet my 2 cents. But the thing, okay, Seattle went in with this mindset of Jamal Charlo against Canelo Alvarez, where they just wanted to survive the game. They just wanted to survive the game. They didn't try to win that game. There's no way they try to win that game. No way. No way. They were just like, it was a setup. It was rigged on opening night.
Perfect.
Coming up next, we've got our locks of the night and much, much more. And we've got score predictions as well. When we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Now you need to give me a moment here. Some music, please. Okay. Sorry about this, folks. I wasn't prepared to break, but I am. The NHL season is finally here, and I finally found my copy this morning. Will the Vegas Golden Knights reign supreme again? We love the NHL. We know that you do too. And that is why we want to tell you about Sleeper. Sleeper is our go-to platform for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey. With Sleeper, you have the chance to win 100 times your cash on daily fantasy. That's right. The NHL has never been more exciting than it is right now. And they have the star power, all the players like Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, Alex Ovechkin, you've got Crosby, you've got McCarr. Simply, all you need to do is select more or less based on their stats, such as stats like goals, like assists, points, saves, and much, much more. Yes, you heard it right here on VGK. Right here, VGK fans, Sleeper offers 100 times payouts. So start paying attention, make the right picks, and you could win big. Entries can be made in just under 30 seconds. And Sleeper is now live in 28 plus states. So use the promo code LOCKDOWNNHL. You'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's LOCKDOWNNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights right here, the Thursday edition. Oh, my goodness.
When are you guys going this side?
Make sure to check out tomorrow, WTF, What the Friday. And it is that time of the day here of the show. It is time for Locks of the Night. And the woman on this show, Allie, a.k.a. Allie Aces.
Allie's 1-0. The rest of us are
we're
trying to catch Allie right now.
Yes. So, Allie, I think let's give her the microphone first.
Ooh, Allie, you're going to go first.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Allie, give us a score.
3-2 Sharks.
What?
Sorry, Knights.
Oh, she
3-2 Knights. Okay, so who are
who do you think, Allie?
Stone and Eichel.
Stone and Eichel.
Wow.
There we go.
That's really
3-2 Knights, Stone and Eichel. Thank you, Allie. All right, Chris, go ahead and fire away, buddy. What do you got?
3-2 Sharks.
Oh, 3-2 Sharks. Christopher.
Sharks are different this year.
Yeah, they're terrible. Chris, which 2 players for the Golden Knights?
Hill and
No goalies.
goalie goal? He's calling for a goalie.
Eichel, he called for a goalie goal. There we go. Eichel and Stevenson, he says. Eichel and Stevenson.
All right. I'm going to go 7-6 VGK. And I'm going to go Stone, who couldn't find the net twice right there on the doorstep in the opener. And I'm going to go with Michael Amadio because he's skating very well. What about you, Big Chris?
That's pretty good. I'm with you on like a weird kind of like chunky type of game. I'm gonna go 5-3 Vegas.
Take the over, folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5-3. Logan Thompson. We'll see how he's looking. He didn't look as strong as Aiden Hill in camp, but hopefully a meeting with the Sharks will. Wait.
That. So LT's going to be in the cage tonight?
LT's in cage tonight, and Aiden Hill's going to be playing Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got Thompson's debut tonight, which will be good to see. Let's see here. Let's go with Dorothea because just why not? And Cotter.
Okay.
Doro and Cotter. I like that one.
I like that one too. You got a chance last night to watch some hockey around the NHL. Okay, I just want to start with something really disgusting that I saw a little bit of last night. I'm not talking about Edmonton getting blown out. I'm talking about Rick Tocchet having to pull Thatcher Demko, who's been battling the flu. He was dehydrated, and he gross gack threw up.
Oh, he did.
He threw up in his goalie mask.
Wow. So it's interesting you mentioned that because I was listening. I was actually driving home. I got a late snack last night. Driving home, and I was listening to the post game when they were talking to Captain Quinn Hughes in Vancouver. Nice. And Demko has been battling the flu. He had a flu bug all day, and there's been a flu bug actually going within the team. So Quinn Hughes had no idea Demko was even sick. So that just, I mean, guys, listen, when we have the flu, it's hard to go to work and do, our jobs that don't require us to be professional athletes.
They knew by the end of the game that he was sick.
They knew, but so just shout out to Thatcher Demko for finding a way. Michael Jordan playing through the flu right there. There you go. But the score of the game, oh my goodness. Vancouver 8, Edmonton 1. And their 1, of course, is a Leon Draisaitl power play goal. But what gets me here is Draisaitl. 2 just unprovoked, just terrible penalties to take. Even friggin' Connor McDavid gets a cross-checking penalty in the game. This just shows, guys, I am so critical of the job that Jay Woodcroft is doing as the coach.
I put him at the top of the list. He should be fired by midseason if they don't.
It bothers me as a hockey fan because you have all this talent there. You have McDavid, who deserves to have his name on the Stanley Cup at some point, just absolutely for the skill and what he brings to the game. And as long as Woodcroft is the coach there, and just the other thing here as we wrap this little party up this morning, you have like all summer, you heard about this closed door locker room meeting after the Golden Knights eliminated them from the playoffs last year. And Leon Draisaitl, Stanley Cup or bust. This is a motivated team. Just all these quotes that came out. And listen, who cares if you lose a hockey game? It doesn't matter. But when that's the effort your team puts forth on the first game of the season to tell your fans, hey, listen, this is our year to finally do something. I mean, they've lost to the Stanley Cup champions 2 years in a row in the playoffs. That says something, I think, about a team, but that's the effort you give in game one. If I own the Oilers, if I'm the GM, I got Woodcroft in my office the second that plane lands, and we're having a talk right now because it starts there. End of story.
Yeah, for sure. Your guy, Connor Bedard, I think the Blackhawks are going to go 0-82, and he'll have 82 points.
No, they won a game already. Listen, Bedard only has 2 points in 2 games. He's a bust.
Yeah, he is a bust. He can't win faceoffs. That was actually really
bust, guys. That's just everyone freaking out. He should have 60 points right now by most media members' accounts and stuff like that.
Ridiculous. No, he's a superstar. I did watch the latter stages. I was at the Aces game last night. They're up 2 games.
Yeah, 2-0. They crushed them last night.
Yeah, and they could close out this series on Sunday.
No,
why in the world is the
WNBA?
Yeah, let them tank 2 games and come back here and get the W. It'd be great to see them
game 5. Yikes.
Win here, or game 5. Yeah. Why in the world does the W go up against the NFL on Sundays? Okay, so I watched the LA King game.
Go against the Raiders. That's fine.
Did you? That's true. Did you catch any of the Kings game last night?
I saw Pierre-Luc Dubois get himself a suspension.
Oh, wow, that was pretty fun. That was fun. And then
speaking of clowns.
Oh, go the fight. LaFerriere, the rookie, the kid from Harvard and New Jersey. He's from New Jersey. And O'Connor, they got into a fight. And LaFerriere, this is his very first game in the NHL. He had a nice takedown. They showed his family going bananas that he's fighting. They showed his family in the stands. That's my boy. like it taking down O'Connor. It was great.
It's not
But,
the first time they probably see him drop the gloves.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And
Sounds better than like the first goal reaction.
oh my goodness. Nathan McKinnon. I mean, he just continues to do like incredible things. He's up against the sidewall. There's a player closing on him with his left arm shields him, and he just moves the puck with his right arm with a stick. And it's just like just brutal strength. And they looked pretty good last night. So
Did he get a misconduct penalty after that?
no, he did not.
Oh,
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So that'll wrap up today's show. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Tomorrow, WTF, line up all of those comments. I know all my fans are out there. My fanboys are out there. They're going to want to leave some great comments about me.
Stop it, Tony.
For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. I'll see you again tomorrow right here. Take care.